They say that when trust is broken, something inside you dies. I know that feeling all too well. It's a hollow ache, a slow-burning poison that spreads through your veins until all that's left is rage. And when the rage takes over, you'll do things you never thought you were capable of. I should know, because I did them. But before I tell you how I fell into the dark, before I share the truth of how revenge turned into an addiction I couldn't escape, I need you to listen. Really listen. Because this isn't just my story. It could be yours too. Maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe you've been tempted. Maybe you've already crossed the line. Whatever the case, one thing is certain. Once you start down this path, turning back isn't as easy as you think. And if you want to hear stories like this, raw, real, and unfiltered, don't forget to like and subscribe. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. I was 30 years old when my world shattered. It happened on a Tuesday. The day was ordinary, too ordinary in hindsight. My husband, Daniel, kissed me on the cheek before leaving for work, just like he always did. He told me he loved me, just like he always did. But that night, when I went to do laundry, I found something that would destroy every illusion I had about our marriage. It was a receipt, a hotel receipt. At first, I told myself it had to be a mistake. Maybe it was for a business trip, something he forgot to mention. But as my eyes scanned the details, the date, the time, I felt my stomach twist into knots. The night he told me he was working late. The night I had stayed up waiting for him, worrying. That was the night he was in a hotel room with someone else. I don't remember much after that. I know I confronted him. I know he tried to lie. I know the look in his eyes when he realized I had proof. And I know the moment he finally admitted it. I made a mistake, Jess. It didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything. My life, my love, my loyalty. He threw it all away and it didn't mean anything. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit him, to make him feel even a fraction of the pain he had just inflicted on me. But instead I felt something colder creep in. Revenge. At first, I told myself I just wanted him to feel what I felt. To know what it was like to be lied to, betrayed, discarded like nothing. I wasn't going to fall in love with someone else. I wasn't going to leave him. I was just going to hurt him. The plan started as a fantasy, something I played out in my head when the pain became too much. I imagined what it would feel like to have another man touch me, to hear his voice whispering my name, to feel wanted, craved, cherished, even if it was all fake. I didn't think I'd actually go through with it. But then I met him. His name doesn't matter. All you need to know is that he was everything my husband wasn't. Attentive, charming, a little dangerous. He saw the darkness in me and didn't run from it. He fed it. It started with stolen glances, then casual flirting, then a drink after work. Then, one night when Daniel was home late again, probably with her, I let the dam break. I remember the moment I crossed the line. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, it wasn't like the movies where the music swells and the world stops. It was quiet, a simple moment, a choice. I was in his car, his hand was on my thigh, my body was burning, my mind screaming, my heart racing with both fear and anticipation. I could have said no, I didn't, I leaned in, my lips met his. And just like that, I was a cheater too. I expected to feel guilt, I really did. But in that moment, I didn't feel guilty at all. I felt powerful. For the first time since Daniel's betrayal, I wasn't the victim anymore. I was in control. I had the upper hand. And let me tell you, revenge is intoxicating. I thought it would end there, that one night would be enough, that once I got even, I'd feel better and move on. I was wrong. That night was only the beginning, because once I got a taste of the high, I realized something terrifying. I didn't want to stop. People say the first time you cheat, you either drown in guilt or get hooked on the thrill. I got hooked. I don't know if it was because I wanted to punish Daniel or if I had finally unlocked a part of me I never knew existed. But after that night in his car, after the way his hands felt on me, the way his lips claimed mine, I knew one thing. I wanted more. The next morning, I expected to wake up feeling like a terrible person. I expected the weight of my actions to come crashing down on me, but as I stood in front of the mirror, studying my own reflection, all I felt was alive. For the first time in months, the sadness was gone. The betrayal, the anger, the self-doubt, it was drowned out by something else. Power. For so long, I had been the good wife, the devoted, loyal, faithful wife. And what did it get me? A cheating husband and a broken heart. But now? Now I was the one with secrets. I was the one playing the game. And I was winning. That first night should have been the end of it. It should have been a one-time mistake, something to regret but move past. But then he called. Thinking about me? His voice was teasing, laced with confidence. I should have said no. I should have told him it was a mistake. Instead, I whispered, maybe. That single word sealed my fate. The second time was easier. No hesitation, no second thoughts, just hunger. We met at a hotel, a cheap one, the kind where no one asks questions. As soon as I walked in, he pulled me into his arms. It was reckless, desperate, everything my marriage hadn't been in years. And when it was over, as I lay there catching my breath, a terrifying thought crossed my mind. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about me. Cheating changed me. I stopped caring if Daniel was home late, stopped checking his phone, stopped wondering if he was still seeing her, because I had my own secret now. I started dressing differently. Tighter clothes, more makeup. I wanted to be noticed, not by Daniel, but by other men. I began craving the chase, the stolen glances, the flirtation, the excitement of knowing I was desired. It wasn't just about one man anymore. I wanted more. And the scariest part, I didn't feel guilty at all. Lying to Daniel became second nature. Girls' night out. Work ran late. Going to visit my sister. Excuses rolled off my tongue so easily it shocked even me. And Daniel? He didn't suspect a thing, or maybe he did. Maybe he just didn't care anymore. Either way, it didn't stop me. Every time I was with someone new, I told myself it would be the last time, but it never was. Because once you start down this path, turning back isn't as easy as you think. And if you've ever been caught up in something you couldn't control, whether it's an addiction, a bad decision, or a secret you couldn't keep, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're still listening, if you're still here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because trust me, this story is far from over. I knew I was in deep when I stopped worrying about getting caught. I didn't just have one lover anymore, I had several. There was the businessman who booked expensive suites, the personal trainer with a body carved from stone, the quiet married man who reminded me of what I once had with Daniel. I didn't love any of them, I just loved what they gave me, freedom, excitement, an escape from the person I used to be. Every time I thought about stopping, I told myself one thing: Daniel did it first. That was my excuse, my justification. But deep down, I knew the truth. This wasn't about Daniel anymore. This was about me, and I was in too deep to stop. At first, cheating was a choice. Now it was a need. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It wasn't even about the men. It was about the feeling, the rush of sneaking around, the way my heart pounded in my chest when I saw an unread message from someone who wasn't my husband. The way my body tingled when I locked eyes with a stranger, knowing I had the power to make him want me. I had spent so many years being a wife, being someone's everything while getting nothing in return. Now I was the one taking, and I didn't want to stop. Lying to Daniel was effortless. "Going out with the girls again?" he asked one night as I got dressed. I smirked at my reflection, tight red dress, high heels, no wedding ring. "Yeah," I said, grabbing my purse. "Don't wait up." And just like that, I was gone. Another night, another man, another piece of myself slipping away. I told myself I was still in control, that I could stop whenever I wanted. But deep down, I knew that was a lie, because I didn't want to stop. The first time I almost got caught was in our own home. I had just come back from an afternoon with one of my lovers, sweaty, flushed, still wearing the scent of another man, when Daniel walked in early from work. "Hey, babe," he said, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek. My stomach twisted. Did he notice? Could he smell him on me? But Daniel didn't even look at me twice, and that's when I realized something. He didn't care. Maybe he had stopped caring about us long before I did. Maybe he was still cheating, still seeing her, or maybe it was someone new now. Either way, it didn't matter, because I didn't care either. I was too far gone, too lost in my own addiction. I thought I was untouchable, that I could live two lives without consequence, but I was wrong, because one by one I started losing everything. First, it was my friendships. The few real friends I had started noticing the changes. "Jess, you're different," my best friend Lara said one night. "You're reckless." I laughed it off. "I'm just having fun." But she didn't laugh. "I don't recognize you anymore." She was right. The Jessica she knew was gone. I didn't just cheat when I was angry anymore. I cheated when I was bored. I'd be sitting at work scrolling through my phone and my fingers would itch to send a message. Meet me? Where are you? I need you. It was a cycle I couldn't break. And the worst part? I didn't want to break it, because cheating wasn't just about men anymore. It was about power. It was about knowing I could have anyone I wanted. I was playing a dangerous game, and deep down, I knew it was only a matter of time before it all came crashing down. One night, I met a man I shouldn't have. He was different, older, married, the kind of man who wasn't just looking for fun. He was looking for an escape, just like me. We met in a dimly lit bar, both of us pretending we weren't exactly what the other person was looking for. I've never done this before, he said. I smiled, sipping my drink. Neither have I. A lie, one of many. That night, we didn't just have sex. We talked about life, about love, about the things we wished we could change but never would. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something other than lust. I felt fear, because what if I was falling? What if this wasn't just a game anymore? I thought I was untouchable. I thought I could keep everything separate. My affairs, my marriage, my real life. But secrets don't stay buried forever. And soon, my lies started catching up to me. A text left open on my phone. A receipt in my purse. A name Daniel didn't recognize. I didn't know it yet, but I was standing at the edge of a cliff. And the next step I took would send me crashing down. I always thought I was careful, that I had mastered the art of deception, that I could keep my two lives from colliding. But secrets have a way of coming out, especially when you get too comfortable. And I did. Maybe I was overconfident. Maybe I was just reckless. But that night, when Daniel walked into our bedroom with my phone in his hand, I knew. The game was over. I had been careless. A simple mistake. A text from a man who wasn't my husband, left open on my phone. Nothing explicit, just 2 words. Miss you. 2 words that shattered the illusion I had so carefully built. Daniel stood there, his face unreadable, my phone still glowing in his hand. Who is he? I opened my mouth to lie, to spin another story, but I couldn't. Because in that moment, I saw it in his eyes. He already knew. Maybe he had suspected for a while. Maybe he had turned a blind eye, just like I had done with his affair. But now? Now there was proof, and proof changes everything. I could have denied it. I could have blamed it on a friend, or claimed it was harmless. But something inside me snapped. I was tired of sneaking around, tired of pretending, tired of the woman I had become. So I told him the truth. All of them? He asked, his voice hollow. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. His face twisted, hurt, anger, disgust, all fighting for dominance. And then the worst thing happened. He laughed, a bitter, broken laugh. I guess we both deserve each other then. We sat in silence for what felt like hours. The air between us was thick with everything we never said. Finally, he spoke. I knew you changed, he said, staring at the floor. I just didn't want to believe it. His voice wasn't angry anymore, just sad. And that hurt more than if he had screamed at me. I was going to stop, I whispered. It wasn't true. I didn't even know if I could stop. Daniel looked at me then, really looked at me. And for the first time in months, I didn't see the man who had betrayed me. I saw the man I had once loved, the man I had married, the man I had destroyed just as much as he had destroyed me. And suddenly, I wasn't powerful anymore. I wasn't in control. I was just lost. The next few weeks were a blur. We didn't fight. We didn't scream. We just existed. 2 strangers living under the same roof, both guilty, both broken, both unsure of what to do next. One night, Daniel packed a bag. I need space, he said. I nodded, even though it felt like my chest was caving in, because deep down I knew. We were beyond repair. I always thought I cheated because of Daniel, because of his betrayal, because of my need for revenge. But standing there watching him walk out the door, I finally admitted the truth to myself. I didn't cheat because of him. I cheated because of me, because something inside me was broken, because I had let my pain turn into something ugly, something uncontrollable. I had thought I was getting even, but in the end, I had only destroyed myself. I lost my marriage, I lost myself. And for what? For a fleeting thrill? For a moment of power? Looking back, I can't even remember half their names. But I remember what it cost me. If you've ever played with fire, if you've ever let revenge or anger or desire lead you down a path you couldn't escape, you know what I mean. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because trust me, there's always more to the story. The question is, how does yours end?